What's going on, guys? This is Joey. I'm coming at you another video for the week. So this weekend was kind of short for me. I had to work over the weekend, so I only really had a one-day weekend. So I did actually finish the final teardown of the tank outside. Also, it was raining today, so it just kind of made things a little bit harder in terms of water changes and just removing stuff. But I did finally tear down that last tank. What I need to do is go ahead and spray down the tank with hydrogen peroxide and go ahead and wipe down the tank and kind of get that tank starting to cycle for fresh water, because it was obviously salt water before, so it's going to take some time to convert and cycle. I probably won't be able to do it today. I'll probably do it throughout the week to at least, wipe down the tank, get it ready, fill it up, and kind of purge a lot of the bad things that are in the tank right now. But anyways, that was just the quick update for the rack side. I'll probably do more of that next week when I actually have a little bit more time. So for this week, I kind of want to give you guys an update on the Pleco tanks inside. You guys haven't seen this tank in a while, and I want to kind of give you guys a rundown of the tank. I did do some minor adjustments on the sump and kind of future plans for that tank. So before we go into that update, we have a couple questions that I'm going to go ahead and answer. Ramu555 asks, can this filter be used in a 4-foot tank? And he's referring to the Eheim 150 Classic. Absolutely no. This filter is really tiny. It's actually meant for nano tanks, and probably like anything 20 gallons or smaller will probably be ideal for this tank. You could probably push like 30 gallons, but even 30 gallons, I think it's like this filter is way too small, and the flow rate kind of drops a lot in this filter. I highly recommend you look at the Eheim 2217. That one's rated for, I think, 160 gallons, but I'm using that one actually in my 54 gallon, and that flow rate slowly drops over time, and actually it's not even ideal for a 50 gallon. So I would say a minimum use that filter. I would highly recommend maybe looking into like a FX6 or an FX4 minimum, and those might be even better choice for you there. The second question is from Christopher Cruz. He asks, can I feed my Pleco cichlid food? So the simple answer to that is yes. It really just depends on the species. If it's omnivore, it can eat whatever. The herbivores are the ones that you kind of want to feed, more algae towards, and cichlid pellets, they'll eat them, but it's not really geared towards their diet, so you'll probably want to kind of not feed them those, but they'll take them either way. All right, so let's go ahead and jump to this week's update. So let's go ahead and start with a sump. In the previous video, the sump tubing here was kind of long, so it kind of wrapped around kind of pretty high. So I made some adjustments in where the tube is actually closer to the sump and actually drains a lot better now. I ended up removing the sock filter from the sump. It basically clogs up for me every 2 days, and I would have to clean it every 2 days, and it's kind of a hassle. So I removed that and added in kind of like a coarse mesh foam in the actual sump compartment area. And it works out a lot better for me because I only have to clean this, once a week instead of, every other day. And on the return side, this pump that I bought is like super oversized for this tank. It actually pumps a lot more flow rate than the actual overflow box can handle. I basically added on a control valve on the end of the return side, so I can kind of adjust the flow that's coming out to the return side. And this has tremendously helped in terms of the flow rate control of the tank. And then for the sump, I didn't plan to add anything in the sump area, like kind of a pair of Plecos or whatever. I just filled that media, just biomedia, and it's just housing a ton of media in the sump area. The tank's doing really well with the return nozzle kind of aimed towards the bottom of the tank there. It kicks up a lot of debris, which, stirs up and gets caught in the actual sump filter, and it worked really well. In terms of the breeding, I haven't seen any breeding action, but I do see basically a Pleco in every single cave, and as you can see here, there's tons of caves, so I'm guessing the males are camping every single cave while the females are kind of latched between the driftwood, and I don't know if they're even interested right now to check out the caves to go ahead and breed. The one thing is I want to start trying to use RO water to kind of promote or try to simulate basically rainy season, drop the TDS on the actual tank. The TDS in the tanks right now are around like 200 and something. If we can get it down below 100, I think it can kind of promote some sort of spawning action there. But I haven't initiated that yet, just because I do have some future plans for this tank here, and this tank will probably be converted back into a high-tech planted tank, and all the plecos will end up moving to the rack system outside, just because I plan on, you know, converting both of those racks into kind of a pleco, you know, tank species. Again, it'll have plants out there, but the plants will be more geared towards low tech, easier to kind of maintain, just because of the wild like temperature swings that goes out there, and also the CO2 that's required to, you know, pump into a 200-gallon tank is ridiculous. I go through like a 10-pound tank within like 3 weeks, and it's kind of just crazy how fast it goes through. So I'm probably gonna end up moving all my high-tech plants, the stem plants at least, inside to, you know, these 2 tanks in here. I'm probably gonna move the low-tech plants outside and convert that into kind of just a low-tech tank, and just use the pleco, you know, waste or poop there for fertilization, and hopefully we'll have some good plants growing out there. Alright guys, and that is the quick update for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's update. It was a little bit short for me, I couldn't get things done, but next week I'll have a full weekend, and hopefully I can get things rolling again in terms of the rack. I really need that rack to start cycling, because the cycling process will take at least a month. I'm almost guaranteed it will. Get that tank cycling so that I can start tearing down some of the tanks that are inside that I needed to remove, and start shuffling some of these fishes around into that rack system, and we can kind of get the ball rolling before it's at the end of the year, because at the end of the year it's going to start getting cold, I'm going to start getting lazy. But yeah, if you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure you are subscribed, and like always, until next time guys, peace.